The one thing about China you got to respect, man. They are so united at the top. Like, when do you hear now, obviously, it's communism and it's
they don't
force.
have a choice.
I totally get it.
Yeah, but Xi Jinping was a quiet bureaucrat before he rose up and became stronger than Mao.
Yeah, so you have to think about, in U.S., like, the as much as, you know, what the Constitution was written, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. It also reveals too many of who's against who. All you have to do is watch the news for like a couple of days. Like, okay, he hates him, she hates her. They're on the same page. It looks like they're on the same team. Okay, good. Here's how we're going to negotiate. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, it's so easy to go up against U.S. because you know, hey, well, you know what Trump said about you the other day when we were talking. I just want to make sure that you know that we have your back. And you don't think these types of things are being played on the behind the... Like, have you ever had anybody that tried to manipulate in negotiation and you're kind of sitting there, you're like, wow, you are so freaking good. You would probably get a lot of other people the way you just did. Patrick, let's just face it. You're 10 times better than, you know, Bobby. And I know Bobby's your boss, and I know this, but let's face it, without you, he's a nobody. And you know, they're like, wow, you are so deceptive, buddy. Wow. You're just sitting there listening to the language. You know, Adam, you know, if I was your girlfriend, you don't, like, a girl says that to you, you're like in likes or you're like, oh, you would? Oh, really? You would treat me better? Okay, that's great. You know,
you're done.
You're done. We're going. So we're just giving our dirty laundry to the world and saying, hey, use this against us. Come on down. And it's making it so easy sometimes.
But that's not new, right? We've been doing that for 200-something years.
Not 200-something years. Not 200-something years, because 200-something years ago, media wasn't the way it is today.
Fair enough.
So
social media,
no
at least.
way. So when they came out with what they came about back in the days, you didn't say something. 2 seconds later, China already knows what you said. You said something. It may take 2 months until they find out what you just said. Okay, so the speed of being able to retaliate wasn't that quick when they wrote the Constitution. Today, I say something right now. China could have somebody watching us to make sure we don't say anything bad about China. They have one job. Monitor these podcasts to see what they're saying, specifically these guys. Because she said stuff about China, he said stuff about China, he said stuff about China. We don't know this stuff on what they're doing. So easy for them to do it today versus what it was 200 years ago.
And
so anyways.
And they do it with no fear. Remember, the international court system came out when Barack Obama was in office and said China is violating international law with building out the South China Sea. And
they're still doing it.
And they're still doing it because the United States looked the other way.
So,
and now we have his protege,
bottom line,
80 years old.
We've been talking
running
about China doing all, stealing intellectual property, breaking international law.
For a generation.
For a generation. WTF? Like, when are we, is there going to be a hot war? Is there a Cold War? Is there a trade war? Like, what in the F is actually going to happen? Or are we just going to talk about it and talk about it and talk about it?
Like, the Bitcoiners will tell you that Bitcoin's going to take over. But that means that the past 400 years of history is gone. History. Because in the past 400 years, if you're going to lose the reserve currency status, which means you rule the world, there's been a hot war involved. And that's just history. There has been a hot war. And who is building up their military for the first time since World War II? Germany. And who is now more reliant on China for their economic growth than they used to be from the United States? Germany. So China's an interesting thing because if you look where they're investing money, in 2016, they put more money into the United States than they did into Europe. And then Trump won, and they quit putting money into the United States, and they started putting money into Europe. And if you think about world history and building alliances and world wars and hot wars, you cannot have a hot war unless you have an alliance. And that's what China's building, very proactively.
Who's on China's team? We know that they're pumping money into Iran as an example, and they're pumping money into certain countries into Africa for sure. But who's like, I'm with China, no doubt. What's up?
Look at South America and all of the copper, soybean. Look at the exports. Look at who has pumped up that entire subcontinent's economy in the last generation.
So
they have built out the infrastructure and energy in Africa.
But I'm talking the big countries of the world.
Did I mention Germany?
Okay, so Germany's on Team China, not Team United States, is what you're saying? They're not on Team EU?
It remains to be seen.
We all know what happens when frickin' Germany gets a frickin' army on its side. But again,
Germany is building up its military for the first time.
But you're saying allies. You're saying allies. The United States knows that we have Canada up here. We've got, obviously pretty much every country in the EU. We've got Australia. We've got certain countries. all over the world that have our back, no matter what. I mean, we've got differences, what have you. What can you say about China? Is Russia have China's back? Iran?
Of course.
Okay.
Those two are there. Saudi Arabia?
Saudi Arabia is on whose side?
China.
China?
We're on our way to being independent energy-wise. So we don't rely on the OPEC nations as we once did it.
Where's this going to culminate, I guess, is my point, is that we talk about it. China's doing this, China's doing that. So they're going to take us over 2025.
We started talking about $1.9 trillion that's not going towards job creation.
We're still on the first topic, by the way.
We're back to Bitcoin.
$1.9 trillion. Okay.
Do
you have any other follow-ups
China
on this?
China is enemy number one.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.